The Project Grant Scheme is the National Health and Medical Research Council's largest annual research funding program. Each year, high-quality independent grant review panels undertake assessment of eligible project grant applications. Over 6 weeks from the end of July to mid-September, members of the research community will gather to assess around 4,000 applications. This will involve over 40 panels, each with between 8 and 15 members. The panels will meet for a week to assess around 80 applications. Before the panels start in Canberra, panel members have received membership packages by email, including all applications for review, briefing notes, assessments, and applicants' responses to assessor comments. Membership packages will be individually adjusted for any conflicts of interest. A primary and secondary spokesperson will have already been selected for each application. Their roles will be to assess the applications and score them across 3 criteria: scientific quality, significance and/or innovation, and track record of the application team relative to opportunity. Each panellist will have been asked to act as primary spokesperson on around 8 applications and secondary spokesperson on a further 8. Their assessments will have been completed prior to the review week and then presented to the panel. With so many applications to process for each panel, early removal of the lowest scoring bottom third or least competitive applications will make this task a little easier. These applications are now flagged as not for further consideration, or NFFC. The list of NFFC applications has been compiled by the NHMRC based on spokesperson scores, and prior to the meeting, each panellist has been provided the list, with conflicts of interest considered. Panellists will have had the chance to rescue an application from the NFFC list prior to the meeting. Any rescued applications will then be assessed in full by the GRP. The NFFC step in the peer review process is critical to reduce load on panel members, thereby providing panellists with as much time as possible to focus most closely on applications for full assessment. Each grant review panel will be led by a neutral and independent chair on behalf of the NHMRC. Chairs are experienced researchers or senior NHMRC officers with extensive peer review experience. They'll ensure no panellist exerts undue influence, that all applications are treated fairly, and they'll keep the process on time. Chairs will also manage any conflicts of interest. They'll ensure all career disruptions are considered, and they'll lead budget discussions. Assistant chairs will aid their chair and summarise key points made by primary and secondary spokespersons, especially those which include changes to budgets. A high-quality review process depends on collegial and professional behaviour. It's vital that panellists declare any personal or professional relationships or institutional affiliations that could unduly influence an application. Confidentiality of the process must be maintained in perpetuity. Should any contentious issues arise that require assistance to resolve, chairs and panellists can obtain information and guidance from senior NHMRC officers. A review time of about 20 minutes per application should ensure all applications are considered over 5 days, with the reconfirmation of final ranking of applications occurring no later than the Friday. The cycle of an application in the grant review panel process will start with the chair announcing its app ID, title, and any conflicts of interest. Scores from the primary and secondary spokespersons will then be announced by the chair. The primary spokesperson will discuss the application, including any strengths and weaknesses, and they must note any career disruptions relative to opportunity considerations. The presentation should reference the 3 specific assessment criteria. The secondary spokesperson will present a report on the external assessments and the applicant's response to the assessor's comments. They may also briefly comment on the assessment criteria, but should not reiterate the primary spokesperson's comments. Following discussion by the primary and secondary spokespersons, the application is then discussed by the whole GRP. The Chair will provide all panel members with an opportunity to discuss the application and raise any issues they may have. Once the Chair is satisfied that all panel members have had the opportunity to provide comment on the application, the primary and secondary spokespersons will then reveal their final scores between 1 and 7 in all 3 assessment categories. It should be noted that as a result of the panel discussion, these scores may be different from those announced at the introduction of the application. The Chair will ensure that the scores for each category are a true reflection of the comments from both spokespersons. All panellists, including the primary and secondary spokespersons, will then complete score sheets for the application in a secret ballot and forward them to the Secretary, who will enter them into a database and announce the final scores to the grant review panel. In the final scoring process, the individual component scores will be weighted 50% for scientific quality, 25% for significance and/or innovation, and 25% for track record of the application team relative to opportunity. Once the application has been reviewed and scored, the panel can begin budget discussion if it has an overall category score of 5 or above. Budget discussions will also proceed for new investigator or Indigenous health applications with a category score of 4. The Chair will ask the secondary spokesperson to lead the budget discussion by providing suggestions for items to be supported and those for which support is not recommended. This will include the duration of support, which can be any period between 1 and 5 years. It should be noted that for all applications, it is the responsibility of the applicants to make an appropriate case for all funding requests. NHMRC encourages support of highly innovative ideas. At any stage during the GRP, panels should consider nominations for the Marshall and Warren Award. This award recognises applications that are considered highly innovative, but which may be high risk and may also offer significant gains in new areas of knowledge and/or concept development. Each grant review panel can choose to nominate just one application for this award for consideration by the NHMRC, but it should be noted that the application must have a category score of 4 or above. During all GRP discussions, an independent observer, a highly respected volunteer representing the broader community, may be present to listen to the GRP process for short periods. They'll report daily to the CEO or senior NHMRC staff and the GRP chairs. In addition, early career researcher observers may also be present as an introduction to peer review at NHMRC. At the end of each day's deliberations, a reconciliation of applications reviewed will take place. This process gives GRP members an opportunity to raise concerns regarding applications that have been reviewed throughout the day. When all applications on a GRP have been reviewed and assessed, application scoring in Category 5 will undergo a final ranking. The intention of a final ranking is to ensure that each application is correctly positioned in an order of merit.
So finally, let me thank you for agreeing to be a member of the GRP panel and its system this year. Thank you for the work you've already done and the work you'll do between now and when the panel meets. I look forward to seeing you in Canberra while you do that crucial central work of the NHMRC, and that is high quality peer review. We all work to improve the health of Australians, and peer review is right at the centre of that. So thanks again.